This is Radiant Voices Media.
Welcome to the Paths We Take podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Disanjh. Let's hit a path. Hey there, and welcome back. Welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to another solo episode. I want to thank you listening for tuning in, for taking time out of your busy schedule, for listening, whether you are driving, whether you are running, whether you are cleaning, whatever it might be, it means a lot. Today, we are going to be talking about something that we all know too well, and that is these New Year's resolutions. But instead of waiting for January 1st, which I think a lot of us do, what if we started a resolution or a goal right now? Let's dive into why it doesn't matter what a day it is, what age you are, or where you are in life, because growth can begin anytime, and I am a big believer of that. Now, let's get into the boring statistics. I think some people love statistics, others don't. I am one of the people that do like the statistics of things. I have found that a recent survey in Australia found that for 2025, 74% of Australians said that they had set a New Year's resolution. Amongst those, common goals were diets, healthy eating, about 39%, improving fitness was about 37%, and losing weight was about 33%. Despite how many of us make resolutions, though, most end up abandoned. According to a long-cited result from the University of Scranton, only about 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolutions. Another survey from Forbes Health found that many resolutions fall apart, and this is at around the 3.7-month range, and only a small fraction stay alive a bit longer. Even amongst people who say they make resolutions, a study by the Pew Research Center in 2024 found that younger adults, ages ranged from 18 to 29, were far more likely to make resolutions than older groups of people. But that leaves a big portion of other adults not setting anything. That makes me so sad that people in their 30s don't feel like they deserve goals, that they don't feel like they deserve or that they don't need to be better. I think a key takeaway from all of those statistics that I just read was that making New Year's resolutions is common, but success rates are low, and most people don't follow through. Now, here is my takes on why the wait till New Year's mindset causes a problem. I think there's this time pressure. When it feels like a big moment is happening, people are often very ambitious in the beginning. They try all of these challenges and all of these things at once, but at the end of the day, I think all of that becomes overwhelming. I think all of that becomes just too much of a hassle, and they do not actually strategically sit down and figure out how they are going to work through this goal. They overestimate, they overcommit, and things just start spiraling out of control. I think over-reliance on external structure, such as this calendar date, is kind of like, I don't know, it's void of an internal motivation. You know, if you're waiting for January 1 to make a goal, there's no internal motivation there. You are working on a date. If you tell yourself that I'll start when New Year's begins, you're delaying action until some arbitrary date, maybe when you're not actually ready to make a change. So, what's to say that you can't make a change on July 28th when you are ready, when you are ready to make the change or when you are ready to work towards something. In October, if you are bored with your job, if you are bored with what you are doing, in the gym, if you are bored with your running goals, what's to say that you can't make a goal and make a change in October? I think waiting until a certain date, waiting until, oh, I'm going to start my diet on Monday, that doesn't work. Why not now? I think that is a reason why a lot of people fail, is because there are always excuses to procrastinate and to hold something off. If you can tell yourself, oh, I'll wait until Monday to start my diet, then what's to say that your brain is not going to then get to Monday and tell you, oh, well, let's start this at another date? Like, don't let yourself get to that point, is what my belief is. I think, too, we rely on this motivation. I think habits are something that we need to really remember. Research suggests that small, consistent actions beat big, abrupt goals, especially for long term change. You are not going to change. You are not going to get to your goal simply on motivation. I can tell you that with certainty. I can tell you, me working towards an Ironman, me working towards the half Ironman that I did, me working towards a marathon, I have not, sorry, achieved those things. I mean, I haven't done an Ironman yet, but I will not achieve those things simply on motivation, because I can tell you for a fact, there are days where I did not want to wake up in the morning. There are days when I woke up in the morning, I did my run, I went to work, and then after work, I still had a bike session to do that I didn't want to do because I was too tired. It was not motivation that got me through those things. It was the habits. It was the fact that I had done it for weeks and weeks prior. I just knew, okay, it's Wednesday. I know on Wednesdays, I wake up, I go for my ride, I get home, I have breakfast, I do what I need to do for the podcast, I finish work, go for a run, to the pool, rinse and repeat, and do it all again the next day. Like, it wasn't motivation that got me through, because I can tell you for a fact that I did not want to do a lot of the things that I was doing. It was the habits that got me through. I think psychological factors also, the quote unquote fresh start effect tied to these New Year resolutions can feel motivating. But again, when the novelty fades after that 3-month mark, that's why the momentum fades. We all know at the beginning of the year, January, February, us that go to the gym frequently, constantly, we know the gyms are going to be packed. We know that gyms are going to have an 8-week challenge or this and that. And New Year's is often the time that all of this comes out. But I think if we get past this January 1st thing and just think about trying to better ourselves whenever we're ready, it can you can achieve what you need to achieve a lot better and a lot easier that way than waiting for this arbitrary date. Now, what makes me really sad is when I hear people telling me, or when I scroll through reels, or just in general, when people think that they are too old to make a change, when they think it is too late to make a change, when they think that um, it's too embarrassing to make a change. That really upsets me. That is something that I think upsets me because it hits me personally. I, of course, have made a lot of changes over the last year, over the last couple of years. Um, Me being a physiotherapist by trade, but really not stepping fully away. I'm still a physiotherapist, but me leading more into now the media space and making that change. Also, me releasing the Kova House and my first business with the Radiant Voices Media earlier in the year. Um, I think in the back of my mind, I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm 30 years old. Why am I drastically making all of these changes? Like, it's too late. Like I legit was thinking like I should have done this 10 years ago when I had nothing to lose. Like I should have done this when I had no responsibility. Like, and I think I caught myself with that. And that's why I get so upset when people tell themselves that it's too late for you to do and for you to make your goals and your dreams a reality. Not all of my dreams have become a reality yet. Some of them have, and I am working towards other ones, but I think like yeah, that really hits deep with me because I think it is never too late, whether you are 30, whether you are 60, if you've wanted to try something or you've been afraid to, like, I know it's easier said than done, but like, do it really. Now, how do we kind of set a date free resolution? I think here are some practical tips that I came up with that I just want to go through with you listening. If you're ready to start something today, I think here's something and some things that I've kind of adopted over the years. Not even over the years, over the last 12 months, because 2025 for me has probably been the biggest and um, the biggest year of change, I should say, for me in my 30 years now. I think the first thing is pick a clear and specific action. I think this whole vague goal thing is what really detours people from hitting their goals. Having a goal of, I want to get fit is not going to get you fit or, is not really going to do for you what you think you're going to do. I think you really need to sit down. You need to think what getting fit means to you, what getting fit looks like to you, and implement that into your habit and your routine. For example, I want to get fit, replace that with I want to walk every morning or I want to go for a 30-minute walk 3 times a week. That will get you a lot more fit than sitting on the sofa every morning 7 days a week, but it also like helps you work towards this I want to get fit goal rather than this arbitrary vague I want to get fit. What does that even mean, really? Start small and build gradually. Tiny steps are less intimidating than, implementing 5 different steps at once. It all just gets a bit too much, I think, for a lot of us. And that is why, again, we drop off because we've added too much and we've added such huge changes in the beginning. If you start small and you adapt and you start, I guess, implementing those small steps into your routine, then you can slowly work towards the bigger changes that you eventually want to strive for. Focus on building a habit. We have talked about this numerous times on this podcast. Don't just chase a result. Habits are what stick, and results follow over time. Be flexible and kind to yourself. Life changes. 12 months is a long time. There are going to be some major changes in 12 months. Even small changes are going to happen. So adapt, adjust, and restart if you need. I think being adaptable is key. If you cannot adapt, then yeah, maybe the 1 week that something comes up, for example, you might have a friend that moves, so you're spending the weekend moving boxes with them. Like if you can't really work around those things and adapt, and that gets you out of your routine, and then you start spiraling out of control, then you're really not going to get to that end goal. You need to be able to adjust. You need to be able to adapt, And you need to be able to sit down and just say, okay, do you know what? That's fine. I will help. I will I will move your things with you, for a couple of hours, but then I need to run and I need to get what I need to get done. And then I can come back and I can, like you might think that's a bit selfish, but it's not really. And I think if that is truly a friend, they won't have any issue with that. Chances are that, they have other things to do as well. So, yeah, I think be flexible and just find ways to adapt, monitor progress, and reflect. After a few weeks, check in with yourself, check in with what's working and with what's not working. I think, and the reason why I left this to the end is because I think this is so key. If you sit down with yourself on Saturday or Sunday and think back during the week, why did I get this done or why didn't I go to the gym this week? If you can determine what the factor was and if you can tweak something, how you can tweak something, if something needs to be tweaked, that will make this new goal for you so much easier. I think a lot of the times we just, go week by week, things slowly fall off the bandwagon and we don't really just we we don't reflect into why something fell off, As a physiotherapist, if I'm asking somebody, "Oh, why are you not going to the gym anymore?" Blah, blah, blah. A common thing that I hear is, oh, well, I just kind of stopped one day and then I haven't been back. Like there was no reason really. That person clearly hasn't sat down and reflected what actually was going on in their life at that moment during that week that got them off track. And how can they re strategize to get back onto track? I think that is so key. If there's one thing to remember, it's that you don't need to wait for a date. You just need the will. Maybe you're sitting there listening to this right now, thinking, it's too late for me. But I want you to pause. Ask, what's one small thing that I can change today and right now? Because the truth is, the best time to start is always now. So if you like this episode, share it with a friend, share it with a family member who needs to hear this. And if you are waiting for January or waiting for a certain date, please start to change now. Thank you for listening. I will talk to you in the next episode.